Toronto Blue Jays are making moves. They have made multiple moves, and following what has been a truly unbelievable stretch of play for this Toronto Blue Jays team, they are making some moves. To break down exactly what those are, discuss what they mean going forward. But we also have multiple key updates to go over surrounding the Jays. Reinforcements are on the way, but we also have some updates surrounding the game in a few hours this afternoon. Stay tuned for all of that, as well as some interesting quotes following yesterday's walk-off win from the Toronto Blue Jays, including some comments from Ernie Clement and more. But before we get into all of that, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, folks, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. This is getting crazy. The Jays are on a roll. If you don't want to miss anything, smash that subscribe button. You guys have been absolute beasts with the support, folks. Let's just dive right into it here. There's a lot to go over today. And obviously, we've been talking on this channel a lot about how good the Jays are playing, and yesterday was no exception to that. But lost in it a little bit yesterday was the fact that they made multiple moves here. And this one is interesting because it's a name we haven't seen yet this season. You can see this here, Lazaro Estrada. He has been selected to the Major League Club and was active yesterday, but of course he didn't play. So I'm going to dive into him a little bit because not a lot of people are talking about him. Justin Brule's option to AAA, and Anthony Santander has been transferred to the 60-day IL, which is actually very notable as well because Ross Atkins came out and said that he was going to hopefully return by the end of the month. So a ton to unpack here. You're also going to want to stay tuned to the end of the video, a little bit of a bonus image to show you guys there. But let's start with this. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Lazaro Estrada, he's an interesting name. You can see this here from Thomas Nestis. Lazaro Estrada gets the call. He's one of the longest tenured arms in the Jays system, and he is finally getting his shot in the MLB. He wields a 4-pitch mix, highlighted by a high-riding fastball and a trio of secondary. So basically, he induces weak contact. Feel free to pause and look over the advanced analytics chart. But essentially, folks, he's an interesting guy. They're bringing him up because Justin Brule hasn't really he got the strikeout on Cody Bellinger, basically hit him. But most importantly, they're giving other guys chances. And as the trade deadline inches closer and closer, they're going to be sending guys up. They're going to be sending guys down. They're going to be solidifying their bullpen. They're going to be solidifying their starting rotation. But let's look at his stats. Now, he's 26 years old. Like, he's not a rookie. He's not, technically, I guess, technically a prospect. He's going to be making his, MLB debut here. But let's go over his stats in AAA. Only a, not a great ERA, 4.75 ERA. And you can see there for Buffalo, he started 15 games. So he's been more of a starter, which is a very intriguing thing. Now, he, of course, with the Jays would be used as a bulk guy. He's not going to come up, at least I don't assume, and start, consistent games for the Jays. They kind of have the rotation figured out for now. But keep in mind, they called him up yesterday before the Eric Lauer start. So I guess if Eric Lauer had went south yesterday, he would have came up and he would have been pitching probably as the long relief guy, especially with Paxton Schultz out. I believe he's still in the IL. You don't really have any long, inning guys, especially now with the Ariel becoming a high leverage play. So he's an interesting, pitcher. Not a great ERA down there in AAA. Had a decent year in Scottsdale. It's going to be interesting. Like Dunedin, he was dominant for 2 games. Like, he is a starter down there. We'll see what translates to the big leagues. Will he get a starting chance for the Jays? I highly doubt it, bearing injury, especially now with, of course, Max Scherzer pitching today, which is also one of the reasons that Lazardo is up. And there's a good chance that we see him today because of that, because obviously he was brought up not to start games, like I mentioned, but to be a long relief man. Eric Lauer didn't need it yesterday. He was dominant. Will Max Scherzer need it today? We know there might be, an undercover pitch limit for Scherzer following his thumb. It's great news that he's pitching today. That was confirmed by John Schneider prior to the game yesterday, but a very interesting prospect to have. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on all of this, folks. But let's also dive into some more exciting news, not necessarily more exciting, but some very exciting news as well in the form of some updates, because we have a lot of them, and let's go over it from start to finish. So let's start with Dalton Varsho. He ran the bases on Thursday and felt good. He'll repeat that in the coming days before beginning a rehab assignment. So this is very, very big. He has not suffered any setbacks, according to John Schneider. And again, we hear these kind of injury updates at the start of most series, depending on how things are going. Of course, the Jays are in the middle of a 16-game and 16-night stretch, so it's going to be interesting there. I assume he's going to come back by the end of July. Again, I covered it in the video. The goal was around the end of July. Of course, the All-Star break. It'll probably be after the All-Star break, which is a benefit to all the Blue Jays because, A, this bullpen desperately needs a rest. B, the injuries, hopefully they can get some of them back. And C, Ross Atkins can begin to plan now for what he wants in the trade deadline and the trade market. So, Varsho, great news there. Anthony Santander, he is still a week away from hitting, and he was transferred to the 60-day IL. He isn't eligible to return until the end of July. So keep in mind, the 60-day IL doesn't mean he's out for another 2 months from today. It's retroactive to, I believe, July 29th, which means that he can come back July 29th. I believe that's the date. You can correct me down below. I believe that was the one. And again, July 29th is pretty good. I mean, at the end of the day here, he was supposed to come back earlier. He's been suffering with some, dealing with some stuff. It's unfortunate, obviously, but it is what it is. And let me know down below what your thoughts are on that. Also, a quick note on Alek Manoah. He should have one more live bullpen session before getting into rehab games, but he's closing in on real action. Might be one of the biggest updates we've had to date, which is massive, massive news here. Because at the end of the day, like, getting another starter up with this team is going to be huge. Who knows how Max Scherzer is going to do today? I really hope he's dominant. I really hope he's elite. And I really hope he's an absolute beast out there like we know he can be, and he cruises to a win. However, if he's dealing with thumb issues, if something flares up like it has in literally every start, having Manoah back and getting into real action, this is fantastic. So I assume he's going to have a Dunedin AAA rehab stint. Maybe not right to AAA, maybe some Florida Complex League stuff, but Manoah is on the brink of a return as well, folks. Ton of updates. And aren't these updates so much more exciting when the team is winning? Like, they're 2 games up in the AL East. You wake up every day and you get excited to watch 2 to 3 hours of Blue Jays baseball where the team is elite. Like, feels like we're living on cloud 9 right now, and it's even more fun making these videos when they're playing well. But let's dive into a couple of injury updates for today's game. We also have some other quotes and another injury update as well, but let's start with this. So as we know, Andres Jimenez yesterday, while rounding second to get to third, kind of tweaked his ankle, and you can see this here. Blue Jays manager John Schneider, after the game late last night, said that Jimenez is going to get an MRI tonight and just see what's going on. Blue Jays thought we had kind of dodged a bullet there with how he was feeling earlier in the day. First to third run may have changed that. So I expect he's going to be out probably on the 15-day IL here, which is very unfortunate. He's been really good lately, just really good, right? And everyone clowns John Schneider for putting him in the leadoff spot. Drove in the first RBI of the game yesterday. I mean, his other game was fantastic. I'm fine with, the Jays have a lot of infielders they can use. You have Will Wagner, David Schneider, all these guys who can play second base. I prefer Andres Jimenez out there every step of the way. And you have Leo Jimenez as well playing, short, I guess, in Bo Bichette's absence. Bo's back now. He looks healthy. That's a positive sign, at least. And Vladdy, who missed yesterday's game, was also good. It was just a day off to get him off his feet. If we need him, we think we'll be okay. We saw him on the on-deck circle before Ernie Clement laid down the perfect bunt that won in the game yesterday. So Vladdy, I expect today we're going to see Bo, we're going to see Vladdy, we're going to see all these guys fully healthy, aside from Andres Jimenez. I assume he's going to be out for an extended period of time, at least 15 days. That's just speculation. We'll see. Usually, it didn't look great. And usually when you come back from an injury and you injure it right away, they're going to be a lot more cautious than they were the first time, which we've seen for a little bit now. And one quick thing as well before I wrap up, because I know a lot of people have been talking about it. I covered in the video that Santander was supposed to, according to Ross Atkins, come back sooner, like before the All-Star break. Ben Nicholson Smith basically said that more conversations led to the move for the Blue Jays, meaning after the All-Star break for Santander at the earliest. It's not that Santander tried to swing and had a setback, but bottom line is Santander is not ready yet and gradually working his way back. I want him to be 100% healthy. We saw what Santander has done when he's not healthy. We saw him out there. He was terrible. Get him healthy 100%. And then when he can come back, he can be a dominant power hitting force down the stretch of play. And then Ross Atkins also will have to address the need getting a guy like Eugenio Suarez at the deadline. And then maybe you can even add Santander later on when healthy. But do not rush him, because I just don't want to see that happen. But folks, it's going to be a crazy game today. Clement quickly on his bunt. He talked about how he practiced a lot of bunting. We know that John Schneider's got them to practice bunting, stuck his nose in. And I mean, Clement is a great bunter, and he did the job, got a great bunt down, and his speed allowed them to score a run, which put the Jays to 25-11 over the last 36. And folks, get a load of this, matching their best 36-game stretch since 2021, or over 2021 rather, and hasn't been better since 2015. And the last time the Jays got to 50 wins this quick, you could see it right there among some very good years. But folks, that'll wrap it up. Let us know down below what your thoughts are. Things are picking up. The Jays are rolling. Trade deadlines around the corner. And most importantly, we are getting to watch fantastic baseball every day. You guys are beasts. Cheers.